special meeting of Board of Trustees, Monday, June 8, 2020 at 3 p.m. to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adoption of agenda, please.
Make a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Honnold. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Can't get it to go there. There we go. Public comment. No public comment. Unfinished business. Service counter burial proposal. Superintendent Trombley.
Good afternoon. As discussed last week's board meeting, we do have a proposal from Casino Building and Development for construction and installation of a full-length barrier on our main counter area.
Yeah, last week after we had the meeting, we all went out. There's a bunch of us, and we talked and cleared up some concerns I had about doors. You were there. Everybody was there basically. This time, I'm kind of content with what we're doing. A door would narrow that up too much, and the way it's going to be right even with what we have in our building department currently, and I have no problem with that. And I think Clerk Campbell mentioned the fact that if somebody's going to go to an opening and talk, and they're spreading the COVID virus themselves. So I think we're good with what we have in that proposal. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion we approve the casino building and development to install that as described on the proposal as soon as they can.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other question or discussion? And once again, just for clarification purposes, this is just to add on to the other emergency situation of putting up a protection barrier for the safety of the public and for our employees.
This is the one that's going from the
Front.
receptionist back to the, okay.
Assessing, correct, the whole length of the counter.
Okay, with no doors.
Similar to the one we just installed.
Right, there's no doors. It'll go to the
Correct.
side, okay.
Correct.
That's correct. The biggest difference, aesthetically it'll look the same. The biggest difference, the acrylic on this one is thicker because of the size of it to give it more rigidity. Unfortunately, there's this material is in such high demand. We're probably looking at towards the middle to the end of July before we get materials. The contractor will pre-plan and construct exactly what it can prior to getting that material.
And that's why it's important to do this now, because it's so far out. These
Right.
materials are getting very scarce and very hard to get.
Right.
So, Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Clifford,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Connell,
Aye.
Trombley,
Aye.
Kendall.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let the contractor know.
Thank you. Steering chair, please. Letter 6, new business. Letter A, Dennis Esper land lease proposal. Everybody should have a copy of the proposal. It's here, Michelle, if you need to. This is basically for the 2020 land lease for planting and harvesting. That would be the only rights involved with this. No other rights would exist other than crop rights of planting and harvesting.
That would be my understanding, yes. And it would be for just the 2020 calendar year.
Yep.
1 year, Cam, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, if he was to, if Mr. Esper deemed that he wanted to plant something in the fall for a spring harvest, he would have to do so, you know, with an understanding from the board here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in regards, and along with him doing that, he is, if I read this right, he's agreed to clear the tree line.
That's what I read in his proposal. My only concern is given the date that he turned this in versus today's date, there's no way he's going to be able to do that work prior to planting. And once he plants it, he ain't going to be able to really do that work. Otherwise, he's going to disrupt a lot of the area that he's planted. So I'm not exactly sure on the time frame he plans on completing this.
Well, my thing there is, I think even if he did it in the fall or later on this year after he planted and harvested, whatever his plans are, and I know Ron's been involved in those talks with him on the.
I would want to ensure that that work would be done. That would be my only caveat to this, is that we have some way of ensuring that that work would be done, because once he plants and harvests, he would have nothing, no other.
Nothing to stop him from his
No
field
collateral
is
left.
already growing.
Right.
No collateral left
Right.
after the fact.
Right.
And what I'm thinking is, number one, too, we want, I think Scott, you volunteered in CAM to do a tree selection of the trees that are worth saving, and designate those accordingly that we want to save on the tree line.
Correct. I had a short discussion with Trustee Clifford. I think it would be wise for us to look through that tree line and make sure that we're not going to remove any trees that would be beneficial, not only to the existing part, but the expansion as well. If they turn out to be, for lack of a better way to put it, all scrub brush, there's no need to keep those. But if they're good shade trees and whatnot, which is what we're lacking mostly here, I think we should keep them at this time until we determine what our future expansion would be.
I agree, Cam, and I'm not a firm believer. I've seen some of these subdivisions built that they strip and make it the trees, and when you got done, you got an open desert of houses, and it's not eye appealing. And if we can keep some trees to our benefit, I would like to do that personally.
So I would say if you were going to make a motion on this, that it would be contingent upon the tree work being done satisfactory to the township for the crop planting and harvesting rights. Does that sound?
I would agree unless the board, including the attorney, comes up with some kind of insurance that this work would be done within a given
Is
time.
that something Sean, you could draw up like that?
Absolutely, but a deposit or even the proceeds from the sale of the crops held in escrow until such time as he completes the work, if he's going to do it afterwards, would be a better position for the township.
The problem we have, and that's a great idea. The problem we have now is it's time sensitive, because he has to work that ground and get something in the ground, or he's not going to have time to get a crop in.
He'll lose the growing season, correct?
Yep.
I understand that the time is of the essence as far as his crops, but as long as he's agreeable to signing something like that, and I don't want it open-ended. This is for 1 year.
Correct.
Not for 5 or 6 years of farming. You know, it doesn't say in his letter, it's just, you know, but I'm good with that. Just how you talked about, and personally, as long as he's willing to sign something that we have something to fall back on, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
Our office can have something for you by the next meeting.
Is that your motion subject to that?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agreement with Dennis Esper as long as the tree clearing is done at our, because he still owes us, you know, for the trees he took out. Not that he didn't keep them, he didn't make money on them, but I'd like to get something in return for that. And I know you would too, Ron, I believe. But
There was a discrepancy in some trees that need to be worked out.
yeah, ladies, yep. I hope Gwen and Kathy agree, Michelle. I don't, that's personal opinion, but that my motion is to accept it under those conditions.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions or discussion?
I just would like to say that I personally would think that holding him responsible by asking him to give us some sort of deposit to guarantee that the work gets done I would just feel more comfortable with that.
Okay. Or something satisfactory our attorney would present to us to hold him accountable.
Well, he's gotta be held, somehow we've gotta have something to make him accountable, whether or not we ask him to give us a monetary deposit, which once the work is completed, we give back to him.
Right.
We just hold that until that time, because I just think we have no guarantee that once his crops are up and he's sold them, that we're gonna get anything done.
That's where Attorney Kelly comes in, I think, and I agree with you, Lynn. We gotta make sure that we don't have to chase him for that. We don't wanna have him take from that land and then not have recourse or have to chase him for that. I think that's a fair statement for the whole board, correct? Okay. Any other discussion, questions?
So in this, so what are we, based on what Luann just said, are we requiring monetary or just?
The motion on the table is still in play. We understand your concerns, and the attorney's going to draft a notice to reflect that. Is that?
So there's no second to my motion yet, there is?
No.
Yes, I
Trustee
second
Gurley
it.
seconded.
Oh, okay.
Attorney Kelly, unless there's anything you want to add to that, that's the way it is.
I merely seek clarification as to what we're more comfortable with. Do we want a deposit first? And so I'll draft it that way. Do you want me to draft it where, okay, if time is of the essence to plant now, after he harvests the crops, the proceeds from the sale of those crops go into an escrow account, and until he is done with it, then he can be paid with the remainder of it, and the rest of the money goes to the township, right? Or even a third option would be an indemnification clause saying, if you don't pay the township at any time before this contract is over, you owe the township the legal bills, and we have the right to sue you and everything, so on and so forth.
Well, just to throw this out there, he would have time to sit down and sign something after he deposited his crops, planted his crops, wouldn't he? He should have.
Say that again, I apologize, I couldn't hear you.
No, if he goes out and puts his crops down, and while they're growing, he would have, I would assume he would have time to come in and sign something or make a deposit, whatever we decide to do at that point in time too. I mean, we wouldn't have to wait till they're grown and sold, but that's whatever you guys
No, but
say.
if he does not have the money, just in case, we can put all of these clauses in there, alternatively contingent, depending on when he pays too. So it depends on what the board wants.
But he could sign the contract anyway.
He could, yes.
Well, that's however you guys want to do it. I'm good.
Well, as part of that motion, I think it covers it, and it would only be with satisfactory recommendation from the attorney on how to proceed. Is that fine by you, Lynn?
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm with you. We want to ensure.
With Sean's remarks that he put something in there that says that if this is he understands that he could be, that he is legally responsible and would be sued or could be sued if he doesn't hold up his end of it.
Right, we don't want to spend money to chase after this.
Yes.
Right. Got it. All right, so everybody's clear on this?
I'm good.
Okay. Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Clifford,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Kendall,
Aye.
Connell,
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye. Thank you very much. And we'll set a meeting with him, and I'll have Attorney Kelly present, and we'll get this cleared up. Thank you. Under new business, letter B, CDBG participation. Deputy Supervisor, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is pretty self-explanatory whether the township is going to stay with the Macomb Urban County CDBG program for the next 3 years and still continue to receive funds. If we don't reply to her today, then we don't.
Any questions on this? This is just to be part of the program. it's for community development block grants, that we would be able to receive that money if we qualified for it.
I would like to make a motion that we participate in the 2021 to 2023 Urban County qualification for the CDBG program and do not ask to be excluded.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. Any public comment at this time?
They found my grandma's bench.
They did.
Outstanding. Due to your post?
My post, and I posted it on Marketplace, and someone came forward and said that they knew of a place where it was, and it's still under investigation, but we did get it back.
You got it back.
Yes.
Oh, that's good news. That's real good news.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for being able to attend this meeting. And because of the time we were off due to COVID-19, we could have some more of these special meetings because we don't want to delay any other further business for the township. So that's why we're having these special meetings, and we might have some more that could arise from this, but I appreciate everybody being able to show up and take care of business. So thank you very much. So with that, I have nothing else.
Make a motion that we adjourn at 3:22 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.